All right, good morning, sports fans. My name is Wayne Kauf, and I am a motorcyclist who had an accident about little over 3 years ago. Pretty serious. Put me in the hospital for a week, 2 surgeries, on crutches for 2 months. And what I'm going to explain to you today is the exercise routine that I have adopted that has helped me to recover, helped me lose about 20 pounds or 25 pounds. And it's kept me in the shape that I have today. Now, this is only a 30-minute routine. I do it 7 days a week when I get up in the morning. And there's only a few pieces of equipment that I use. So the first is, my yoga mat, because I'm going to be doing some yoga instruction. And if I can get Bria now off the mat, right? She also likes to be on the mat. So, the other implements that I use, I have a pair of 8-pound dumbbells that I use to kind of tone biceps, triceps, that sort of thing. I have a rubber band that I use to stretch my neck. And I've suffered from my fibromyalgia for about 30 years now, and I have a lot of neck and shoulder pain. And if I do a few exercises with that in the morning, I also have this hook that helps get some knots out of my back, particularly my shoulder blade area, my traps. All of those are really tender and sore when I wake up in the morning. And then, of course, I have my foam roller, and the foam roller is to roll the tension out of my back each morning. So I'm going to take you through this routine, and hopefully there might be a couple of elements in here that you could use. All right, so first thing is I like to just kind of get the blood flowing a little bit, and I start with some arm rotations, and I do 20 in each direction. And then across. All right, now that shoulders, everything's kind of limbered up, the blood's flowing a little bit better now. Now I want to stretch my sides. So what I'll do is I will cross my feet, one leg over the other like this, but one hand down to my left side, and the right hand I'm going to stretch up and reach as far up into the sky as I can. And I'm going to hold this for a count of 50. All right, next is I'm going to do my yoga mat, and I got to get Bria out of the way here. She likes to join in on this, don't you? All right, look out of the way. And I'm going to first, again, these are all for a count of 50, and this is kind of the number that I've come up with. So first thing I'm going to do is just do a hybrid, I don't know, leg stretch, back stretch, I don't even know what you call this, a hamstring stretch, I guess. Hold this for a count of 50. All right, now we move into a push-up position, and I do 20 push-ups every morning, okay? All right, then I go into a cobra position, and while I'm in the cobra position, I roll my neck to help stretch it out further. And then, I forget what they call this, when you, something like the cat, something. Just for a few seconds, just to kind of, again, continue stretching things out. Then we're going to move up into down dog. And hold this position for 50 seconds. All right. Next, we're going to do some weights, okay? And not much. These 8-pound weights are just enough for me. One of the exercises I like to do is to put my back up against this post and put my feet out about a foot from the post together, held together, and I do side and front lifts, and I do this for 16 counts. Sideways, and then this way, okay? Actually, the angle way first, so 20 counts. And then the other side. All right, and then my head goes sideways, left to right. Again, 20 counts. Home instead of going to a gym. That works. All right, other side. Kind of all works together to get things flowing in Wayne's body. All right, now comes the hook. And again, I find some trigger points in my back where the possessions. The problem is, it's hard to carry this around on my motorcycle. I've done it before, but with all my other gear, it's kind of hard when I'm going camping to bring this along. So I usually do without this, and I strictly bring the bands, and I can get a lot of exercise, this exercise routine, particularly the yoga moves, some of the stretches done with just the ground and my bands. I like to stretch out my hips area. I have problems with my hips, and so for a 20 count, I roll my hips back and forth. That's one. Okay. Then the band comes back into use again. All right, so we're gonna, again, I do another leg stretch here. So this is a 50 count. And then to the side. To look at my ass. I like to stretch out my hips area. I have problems with my hips, and so for a 20 count, I roll my hips back and forth. That's one. All right, that was the right leg, and now we do the same thing with the left leg. I like to pull this back as far as I can. I like to stretch out my hips area. I have problems with my hips, and so for a 20 count, I roll my hips back and forth. That's one. All right, that was the right leg, and now we do the same thing with the left leg. I like to pull this back as far as I can. All right, and then over to the side. Really, I like to move my arm here and just kind of continue that rotation, loosening things up. You heard me say earlier how I like balance. I'm a Libra. And so I think balance is important in our lives in many respects, but physically you should have good balance as well. When you ride a motorcycle, balance is important, all right? So, and I forget what this yoga pose is called. Those of you who do yoga, you could tell. But I do this for a 50 count on each leg. All right. And then the other leg. Sometimes I can't hold the pose perfectly, and I do a little bit of shaking, but I try to get my body. Next. Go back down here on the floor. This is one of the physical therapists that I was working with after my accident had recommended this exercise. Again, it helps with the back, the strengthening of the back, the muscles. I separated my pelvis in the accident, and so this helps strengthen my core as well, which helped with the pelvis recovery. But I lay lengthwise on the roller, and I take my weights and I move them into 3 separate positions. I do this for a count of 33. Don't ask me where I come up with my numbers. And so it's over the head to the floor, to the side, to the floor, and then down to the floor. Now, done with that. Then no exercise routine is a routine unless you do sit-ups. 25. Or crunches. All right. Only 2 more exercises. Like I said, this only takes about 30 minutes, but if done consistently, it gives a real tone, a real strength to your body that, again, 7 days a week. All right, so this is, I think they call this the warrior pose in yoga. And I hold these for a count of 50. All right, so keeping my arms as straight and level as I can, my body as straight as possible for a count of 50. So I'll do it this way. All right, and then I straighten the left leg and I bow over like this for a count of 50. All right, then the other side. All right, and then right leg straight, roll over, count of 50. All right, and then the last exercise. Again, this one is about strengthening the core. I do planks, and I do them 3 different ways, and I hold that count for 50 as well. So first is front plank. And I try and get my body as straight as possible. All right, then we do a side plank. Get the elbow at a 90-degree angle, lift up into a side plank, arms straight in the air, count of 50. All right, lastly, other side. All right, so I hope you enjoyed Wayne's World Tour. That's what this is going to be called. I'm heading off on a world tour, my motorcycle someday. I want to be able to take my exercise routine with me while I'm traveling and camping, and having some portable things to carry with you to your campsite or your hotel room. If you don't have a fitness center, you bring a few small items along with you, and you can do an exercise routine just about wherever you are. Consistency is the key. Thanks for watching.